Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. We have advice for startup businesses. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want you startups to be wildly successful. Today, we're going to be talking about money and money issues for startups with a super expert. This is Maria Simone from ZenMoose Capital. Thank you so much for coming, Maria.
Hey, thanks, Mary, for having me. How fun. We love to talk about money, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it is a huge concern for startups, both things to watch out for and things to go for. So, top of your head, what kinds of things you want startups to know?
First and foremost, regardless of what you've heard in the media or whatever you think, the money has not left the planet. There are plenty of resources out there. And I think the mistake that startups make is they go and they start their business, and just like you have a sales and marketing plan, you need to go out and make offers and get customers. That's like the life force of a business. You should also have a capital plan. Every business is going to need capital at some point. So you may have you may self-fund and have a certain amount of capital, but it will only get you so far, because as you grow your business, your demand will ultimately exceed your capacity. And it's a really good problem, but people get to that place and they think they've failed. But no, they just got to the next level and they need to help fuel the rest of their growth. So I would say, if you're a startup, plan on having the money come to you. So that means establish, banking relationships, and look at, what is it going to take if you get lines of credit, and also start talking to, potential angel investors and see if they would be interested down the road and what they would like to see. And, just start cultivating, those relationships and start making a capital plan for your business.
Sure. Because people need to know that your idea is valid, that people are willing to spend money on your idea, much less invest in it. You need customers, but you also need investors.
Well,
right?
Sometimes and I think another thing is entrepreneurs think they have to prove themselves and do a certain amount, which they do. You do want to validate to a certain extent, but sometimes it's not possible, to get to the customer angle until you have some money in the bank. So you have to learn how to articulate and validate your ideas without having to, build the model. You will become a money for magnet if you have some traction, if you have the right people around you, people that have had success, if you have even letters of interest or, potential customers lined up, if you start building your mailing list, anything you can do to build value and show that there's interest, that will help you attract the money as well.
That's very good advice. Can you suggest an approach to an angel investor? How would a startup go about approaching someone, particularly if they don't know them already?
Well, I think it's really important to know, number one, that first of all, people that are investing are always looking for opportunities to put their money. Their money can't grow unless they do something with it. So they're more open than you think to looking at opportunities. And that's therefore, the elevator pitch. That's really valid. We've met people in, airport restaurants who've been interested in investing. So it's important that you understand that the money's out there, number one. Number two, investors have their own lanes. That's it. If you're a real estate investor, you want to look at real estate deals. You may look at somebody may be interested in tech deals. Somebody may be interested in something more emotional. So just respect that people have their own, investment rules. So knowing that, and then you putting together and being able to articulate a decent offer, you have to put your offer together so that when you do speak to people, you can evaluate, you can understand, or ask them, what kind of investments do you look for? And then you'll see if you fit their, in their thing. But you can't run around talking to all the money, because all the money will not respond positively. It's not a rejection of you personally. It's just that they have their own rules. So,
right. You could have a very valid idea, but this particular investor doesn't invest in that area.
So. Exactly. And people take it very personally. They think, they're experiencing all this rejection. And it's not that. It's just that you have to align, just like you have to, your widget has to fit with the right customer. You have to make sure that there's alignment with the potential investors you're speaking to.
Okay. So what kinds of startups have you invested in?
Well, right now, we're mostly looking at media related technologies, online content platform. I did we did launch a tiny home company last year because during COVID, I was really concerned about the affordable housing crisis. And I knew that tiny homes were a template for that. And we we started that with some partners, and sure enough, within the year, it's taken off. We did within the first few months, ending the year, we did about over $1 million in business. January of this year, we had about 3 million in sales, and now we just got a sales contract for about $40 million in business. So we've been, we're a year in business, and this is all happening because we really focused on a particular, and this is what we do all the time, make sure that you're solving a problem. You have a solution that's solving a problem, and go to the people, that really need that solution. And so we just got really focused in on who those people are. So
right. Okay, that's great. That's great. And like you said initially, make sure your credit is good and that your business banking is in a different institution from your personal banking and some of those housekeeping
well
things.
Definitely, yeah. Work on having your own personal credit. Work on, once you form your entity, start establishing business credit. Business credit is different from personal credit. So at some point you want to remove yourself. Make sure you have separate accounts. Start your business is a separate entity. It's a living, breathing entity. So give it, put some attention on that and make sure it's growing so that you can be able to receive capital. You can receive, credit lines from the banks. You can receive SBA funding. You want to make sure that you're doing those things to become a money magnet. And a lot of businesses overlook that, and they continue to, tap into their personal finances and their personal credit to support their business.
Sure. And that can be a red flag to the IRS if you're muddying the waters there.
Oh, that is a red flag. And it hurts you because you're going to pay more taxes. It's really, you're better off having a separate entity. There's much more, deductions, and it's just all around. I think it's so much better to have, separate entities for what you're doing.
Well, thank you very, very much, Maria Simone from ZenMoose Capital. This has been Stuck, Time to Improv. And I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff. We want you startups to be wildly successful. See you next week.